Hey guys, welcome to the channel if you're new, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Special thanks to all of my patrons. My name's Neil, and it's time for the next episode of Arcane. Episode 3 was an amazing episode, guys. It starts off full of intrigue and excitement. There's an amazing fight sequence, and then it all goes terribly, heartbreakingly, devastatingly wrong, and we end up with Vi being taken by Marcus. We end up with Powder crying, sobbing in Silco's arms. We end up with Vander and Milo and Claggor all dead, and what used to be a peace between Piltover and the Underground, managed by Grayson and Vander, is now something else entirely, now that Marcus and Silco sort of run their respective halves of the city. There's a lot still to come, and I'm excited to see it again. Just a reminder, if you aren't already aware, this is not my first time watching, guys. I am going through this for the second time, offering a different style of commentary. Let me know what you think of this sort of reaction. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And let's jump into it, guys. This is episode 4 of Arcane. It's called Happy Progress Day. There's something about this Art Deco steampunk jukebox that I love.
Come in, Jace. Can you believe it? Our
Dawn of a new day.
200 years old.
It's shaping up to be an amazing progress day. I don't know much about him.
Everything he built either exploded, melted, or toppled over. And yet, here he stands. He realized nothing he could accomplish could compare to the contributions of his students. That was his sacrifice.
It feels like Heimerdinger's taking that lesson to heart a little bit.
He ignited passions in arts and science. You deserve this honor.
I love all the designs of the airships. I love the fact that every single one of them is different.
Perhaps there's something in the lab you might be able to share. People love a grand reveal.
Yeah.
Victor and I have just the thing.
A new iPhone.
Hex Tech.
Oh. Look how much the city's evolved. The north side is even richer, more grandiose. The scale is awesome. And the way this works is fascinating. Literally just like, it might as well be teleportation. Because the other words we have for it come from space science fiction, and it's like warp drive or hyperdrive. How many of these characters are actually in League of Legends? Like, can you play as any of them? I mean, I'm sure Vi, and I guess we're going to start calling her Jinx now, our characters, and I'm assuming Jace and Caitlyn are too. But who else can you play? Can you be Mel? Can you be Heimerdinger? Could you have been Vander? Or Marcus? Curious. Tell me. Mechanical men. Cars. I mean, it's the turn of the century, isn't it? It's Fantasy Ekla 1900 World's Fair kind of vibe. With a small dose of communist propaganda posters.
The visionary behind the Hex Gates, a beacon of trade and prosperity for our great city.
Look at the family readopting their... they exiled him, and now he's back.
I'm giving the big address tonight.
We really have to send it to Anarchy.
Have fun hurting the drunkards.
Happy Progress Day!
That's the same guy that was pantsless back in episode 1. And I'm convinced it's like one of the creators of the show. I love the slow build up to this. love how disorienting this scene is when we follow the firelights.
We have 5 minutes till they're out of there.
It's a badass stopwatch.
They're expanding. Check for more below. Burn it all.
Burn it all. So they don't want the shimmer at all.
Oh no, she's here.
Yeah, she's got a reputation. Angry monkey. I mean, it's the exact face of the symbol monkey bomb, isn't it? Look at all the shimmer though, man. If that's all shimmer, that's insane. Boom. Putting grenade pins on spring timers, that's crazy. Her new look is awesome.
Hi.
And she's clearly gotten a lot better with the grenades. We know she's always been a sniper too. And she has no problem killing.
I can't lose you.
It's not Vi, but it is a girl who looks a lot like Vi. But I love that we're back to those messed up visions that Powder had. Yeah, just like that. Time's a wasting. That's how long that crystal glue works, or whatever it is. She's so out of control, unable to deal with her own emotions.
You are supposed to guard the cargo.
She doesn't get intimidated anymore, that's for sure. Silco's done wonders for her confidence. Although I guess she always had some confidence. She was sure she could save the day back then, too.
Hextech was supposed to bring magic into the life of the common man, and now it finally can.
Holy sprockets.
Holy sprockets indeed, Heimerdinger.
This new version is stable and absolutely safe. We present to you
Until you power something with it.
chapter of Hextech.
These are two very interesting first options. You know, like it feels like, yes, theoretically this could be
The Atlas gun.
industrially practical, but really it feels like these are both weapons.
I want Hextech to be a tool for us to build a new world, and now it's finally possible.
Yeah.
You should be very proud. Give it a decade of careful research, and it will be ready.
A decade?
It zips past you in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, when you're 300 plus. I feel like there's a middle ground that would work for everyone, but it's certainly become an either-or kind of situation.
I don't know how they got inside.
I don't know how they got inside. CSI Caitlin. It's a really cool camera. I'm kind of hooked on Adam Savage's Tested YouTube channel, especially his prop builds. And I feel like there's so many things from this show that I'd love to build. I don't have the skill or the practice or the tools or anything to do it, but like I would love to create, you know, from Caitlin's camera and her rifle, especially the folding up one that we see later. You know, so much of Jinx's stuff, her grenades especially, I think are so cool.
She shot me.
Who shot you?
I actually really like Vander's gauntlet, just sort of the old school simplicity of it.
I can protect you.
Caitlin Kiraman. Why does that not surprise me? Interfering in an investigation again.
But there's more going on here than just the smuggling. If I could just question him,
I'll take it from here.
And look how much the lanes have changed. And how long do you guys think? What do you think the time cut is between episodes 3 and 4 here? But I love these scenes because I also feel like I'm sure they're full of so many Easter eggs for fans of the game. Obviously, I'm missing a ton. I felt like the World's Fair, the Progress Day celebrations were the same, that there would be a lot of that. But yeah, the lanes have changed so much. You know, obviously Silco's running the last drop now.
She
but
fired on us.
There are always mishaps in battle.
It wasn't a mishap. She froze up and lost her shit. She's a problem and we all know it.
We? Who's we?
In my head, there's 6 years between episode 3 and episode 4, because I figure this would be another cool prop here. Silco's eye popper. But I figure in the first 3 episodes...
What happened?
She already told you.
Vi is 15.
I'm asking you.
And...
One of those
and Powder is 10.
wackos was a girl.
And I figure we're 6 years later now, and Powder / Jinx is 16, and Vi is probably 21. What do you guys think?
Your sister's gone. You know that as well as I do.
I know. Sisters, right? You can't live with them, can't stuff them back in the old baby maker.
I need to know that I can rely on you.
These are interesting scenes. In your guys' eyes, do you think that this is just a sort of surrogate father-daughter relationship? Because I feel like there's some weird creepiness beyond that.
Savika? That ogre couldn't clean a dust bunny with a blowtorch.
Savika, that's her name. I'll have to remember that.
The only one actually worth my time is him.
The golden boy.
It's Heimerdinger.
Heimerdinger is a great scientist, but he only ever sees the past. Piltover needs a leader who looks forward. Give the people a glimpse of the future.
She's making her moves in more ways than one. Oh, this set, man.
It wasn't her.
I mean, it's as messed and disjointed as her mind. It's a really good reflection of who she is.
I know. I got confused, that's all.
She's literally talking to the ghosts of Milo and Clagger.
Savika's a regular Johnny on the spot.
But she's also built like Milo and Clagger dolls.
I'm not weak.
I like that most of these characters are not black and white. You know, it's easy to look at Heimerdinger as being all good, or Mel being a bad influence on Jace, depending on how you want to look at it, but it's really so much more complex than that. They have different priorities, but their intentions are good.
A few years ago, the Hex Gates opened their ports to the world and made Piltover prosper beyond anything we could have ever imagined.
Everybody likes the Hex Gates.
We're not done yet. This year, we've created something new for you.
He actually has a moral moment here where he doesn't want to betray
share with you
his inspiration, his mentor.
When the time is right, we vow to keep pressing forward, for we are the city of progress, and our future is bright.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting moment. I like that there's nuance, and it's not just someone wins and someone loses. Even though Mel's disappointed, it's not insurmountable. It's not a critical breaking point like that, but it's looming. Nevertheless, it's going to eventually happen.
Don't you have a cocktail party to attend?
Fire! Fire!
Oh, man. Takes a messed up mind to rig a booby trap like this.
By accident. Totally by accident.
By accident. Run. She knows that symbol. She knows that symbol. It's a miracle she wasn't hurt harder from that blast. There's suspect number 1.
The gemstone is gone, along with some of our research papers.
No one in the Undercity has claimed responsibility yet.
Odd that they just automatically say no one in the Undercity has claimed responsibility. Like, it couldn't possibly be somebody from the upper city.
Could the trenchers build a weapon with the stolen crystal?
Shimmer? Body replacements? We've seen their ingenuity over the years. Of course they can.
It was my responsibility to safeguard this technology, and I failed. I have come before you to recommend that we suspend all Hex-Tech operations until the situation is resolved.
Have you lost your mind?
The hex gates must remain open.
You would sacrifice your life's work?
Perhaps the time has come to explore a more radical solution. I propose that a new chair be brought forth, and that House Talus be elevated to this august body.
What?
Here's the power move.
Does the boy have any experience?
Only that of a scientist, like Heimerdinger.
And that's how Heimerdinger comes on board.
That's me.
Do you have any idea what you've done?
Actually, I do.
I like even the subtle details, like her nail polish is chipped.
I've had a break in the case.
Shouldn't you be resting?
While the trail is hot. Listen, you know how I've
Completely uninterested in flowers and uninterested in Jace that way.
If I can just work this out, Marcus will have to listen.
What's that card labeled the truth about?
Since I became a counselor.
Is that one of the Firelight's calling cards, or is it something else?
I was actually hoping you might consider joining my staff.
Thanks, but I already have a job.
No, you don't.
Alright. Lone wolf it, Kate. Stillwater Hold.
I need to speak with one of the inmates.
2135. Yeah, there's been an incident.
What kind of incident?
The not so pretty kind.
Who assaulted him?
Who the hell are you?
I've been trying to think of what the meaning of, whether there's any meaning to Vi's prison number, because I watch Lost, so numbers, I try and decode everything now. And I think I just figured it out. Her prison number is 516. Vi is VI, that's her eye tattoo. Well, VI, we all know, is the Roman numeral for 6, but it also literally is 5-1. So 516 Vi. I think that's what that is. Yay for me for figuring that out. Great episode, because it's almost like we're starting the story over again because of that time jump. I'm going to call it 6 years, but it's in that ballpark. You know, it's enough for the girls to grow up. It's enough for Powder to have become Jinx and to have been, like, properly messed up living as Silco's daughter, basically, for lack of a better way to describe it. It's an unhealthy relationship, but I think at its core there is a need there for Silco to care for a child and for Powder to need a parent. You know, it's not often that parents encourage you to tinker with weapons of war on the daily. That's the nature of the beast in this story. And I love, that it's basically an episode without Vi. The first 3 episodes, I mean, as much as I love Vi, I think she's an amazing character. The first 3 episodes were very Vi-centric, and it's interesting to see how the world's evolved with her out of it. And let's be real, like her existence or lack thereof wouldn't have done much to change, in my opinion, change the progress that Piltover has experienced in recent years because of Hex Tech. But you really do see how the Undercity, the underground, the trenches, the lanes, however you want to call it, have devolved. Not just because Vi's gone, obviously, but also because Vander's gone, also because Silco's in charge, also Shimmer is omnipresent now. It's become a much rowdier, wilder, even more dangerous place by the feel of it. But I think the most interesting thing is really, in this episode, is really witnessing how 2 other characters have really evolved. And those are Powder and Jace. And Jace has, by the end of the episode, he's elevated to a counselor. They add a seat to accommodate him, but he's really sort of the key to the progress of the city. Like, he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to take Heimerdinger's advice, and he decided not to announce new advancements in Hex Tech at the big speech because there are things still need to be ironed out. He's willing to shut it all down when the one stable crystal was stolen. But nobody is ready for that because people have gotten used to Hex Tech. People have gotten even richer off of Hex Tech. It's made Piltover even more important, and no one wants to say goodbye to any of that. So people are willing to risk the safety of the city, not make that their first priority, in exchange for continuing to make money and to grow and to prosper. That's not a foreign concept to any of us who live in the Western world. Let's face it, it's just not. And then we're getting a glimpse of what's happened to Powder. I guess I need to start calling her Jinx now, because she isn't Powder anymore. It's been long enough where she's been without a positive influence in her life. Having a Vi and a Vander sort of kept her centered. She had those flashes of, I don't know if I don't want to call it crazy, but she definitely had those sort of psychological breaks. We saw them right at the very beginning of the show. And anytime the screen starts jumping and warping, and we get those scratch marks, we're in the mind of Powder when that happens. We got that when she was a little girl in the aftermath of the uprising. We get that a lot now. She's having a hard time holding her world together. She's a fascinating character. You want so much for her to get better. You want her to reunite with Vi and it's all be good, but she's messed up. I mean, the obvious comparison is Harley Quinn. She's definitely got a lot of that vibe. The mentally ill, hyper-violent sidekick who has some difficulty separating reality from everything else she sees. Yeah, just a really rich, interesting character. I mean, her new character design is crazy. It's fun, over the top, but it suits the character so well. I love the world building that's happened in the show. Like I can imagine like cosplayers go nuts for this show. Like, there's so many awesome costume designs and prop designs, and so much stuff in it that's fascinating and unique and different and rich. I wouldn't be surprised if down the road somewhere I'm like buying Arcane sidearms and replica grenades and who knows what else. But yeah, it's just such a good looking show. Not just the art style, but the design of every element in it is luscious and rich, and it feels real, and it's coherent. Like it all fits it together in this world. It's just a visual feast, and the writing is up to par. I'm loving it. But yeah, this episode almost feels like a bit of a reset. Like we have to catch our breath after the tragedy. Let's call it for what it is. Episode 3 ends tragically, and we sort of need. I get why they put the time cut in there. I mean, yes, it's to show the progress of Hex Tech. You know, where are we now? What is this meant for the city? But I also feel like it helps for us to take some distance from the tragedy of that, because I think if we just sort of stayed with the story immediately after, we'd have these characters that were so heavily impacted that it's a slow journey to get to where they are today. Whether where they are today is a good place or not, we'll dive deeper into that in future episodes, you know, when we get to see more of how Vi's doing now. But yeah, it's such a rich show. I have so much fun with it. There's a reason I'm watching it again for the second time in a span of a couple of months. I'm really hoping that there are more seasons to come. And if there was a video game that felt and played like this world in some regard, I'd be very, very interested. So yeah, I'm hooked. I think that's what if it hasn't been made clear yet, I'm hooked. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Until next time, everybody, take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.